The Madden Curse is one of the most commonly discussed jinxes, hexes, or curses, whichever term you prefer, in all of professional sports. It's up there with the likes of the infamous Curse of the Bambino, which tortured Boston Red Sox fans for 86 years, following Boston's decision to sell its star player, Babe Ruth, perhaps you might have heard of him, to the Yankees. Or the Curse of the Billy Goat, which extended the Chicago Cubs World Series drought to 106 years, before it was mercifully snapped in 2016. 106 years, and to think it was put on the Cubs by a local bar owner after they forced him to leave a game at Wrigley Field because the odor of his pet goat Murphy was bothering other patrons. It just goes to show you really never know what can birth a new curse. While the Madden Curse doesn't quite have the longevity on its side, at least not compared to these ancient baseball curses, it has quickly evolved into a household name, in part probably because football is the most popular sport in North America nowadays, and Madden was the first sports video game to really become a mainstay in the public consciousness. But also it is because as each year went by, more and more it seemed unavoidable that whoever was on the cover of Madden was damned to a fate, each more treacherous than the one before. It started way back in '99 when Garrison Hearst, a former All-Pro running back who did his best running as a member of the San Francisco 49ers, became the first solo player to share the cover of the game with its namesake, longtime NFL broadcasting legend John Madden. Hearst was coming off the first and only All-Pro season of his career with the 49ers, and to say that he lit up opposing defenses would be an understatement. He rushed for 1,570 yards at 5.1 yards a pop, no less, while punching in 7 touchdowns on the ground. The way that the 49ers utilized Hearst was actually well ahead of the times as well, considering the shifty running back played a big role in the San Francisco passing attack. During that '98 campaign, he hauled in just under 40 passes for over 500 yards and 2 more touchdowns, setting a career best in total touchdowns. Although Denver Broncos fans were despondent that their running back, Terrell Davis, who, by the way, ran for over 2,000 yards and won NFL MVP honors, wasn't chosen, I am sure that looking back now, they would be happy with the fact that their All-Pro back wasn't saddled with a dastardly Madden Curse. I mean, just look at what happened to Hearst's production the following year. Oh wait, 0 rushing touchdowns, 0 yards. Yep, Hearst missed the entire season following a brutal ankle break he suffered after the announcement. Surely the next season he bounced back though, right? Nope. Hearst suffered from complications following the surgery on his ankle, as circulatory problems limited the blood supply to the area, which led to an avascular necrosis, literally killing the bone in his foot. It was just like what happened to Bo Jackson's hip, and it forced him into retirement. Hearst would eventually return to action after 2 years of rehab in 2001, putting up a surprisingly solid season in which he ran for 1,206 yards and 4 touchdowns. But nevertheless, the Madden Curse had laid claim to its first victim, as it would continue to do year after year. In dramatic fashion, too. I mean, Barry Sanders, who was on the cover in 2000, literally retired from football out of nowhere. Sure, he had plenty of issues with the Lions management and all, but still, who retires after 10 straight All-Pro seasons? And when EA Sports tried to recover by putting an up-and-coming star in Green Bay Packers running back Dorsey Levens on the cover, disaster soon closed in on Levens and the Packers as well. The season after Levens appeared on the cover would end up being the last one he spent on the Packers starting roster, and Green Bay posted their worst record since Brett Favre became the team's quarterback in '92. At this point, the Curse had a nice 2-game winning streak going. Impressive, yes, but plenty of wiggle room for the folks at EA to claim coincidence. But year after year, in one form or another, something continued to happen to the cover athlete. The 2001 cover athlete Eddie George seemed like he was going to buck the trend, as he and his Tennessee Titans had a great regular season. But even George couldn't escape the curse. Late in the fourth quarter of a tightly contested divisional round playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens, George made a blunder for the ages, bobbling an easy pass from Steve McNair, leading to an interception and a subsequent touchdown that halted the Titans' Super Bowl journey dead in its tracks. It was a wildly uncharacteristic mistake for the usually sure-handed George. Then the Madden Curse took its talents up north, where it set its sights on Dante Culpepper, the 2002 cover athlete, who went from passing for nearly 4,000 yards and rushing for almost 500 more, to missing the bulk of the subsequent season from a knee injury he suffered against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to be honest, he never even came close to becoming the same player again. This was a milestone year for the Madden Curse, as Culpepper's injury really got the public talking and sort of believing in the curse. And it went on like this for years. Marshall Faulk in 2003, Mike Vick in 2004, and as the curse gained notoriety, players started to publicly doubt it, like in 2007 when Madden 2008 cover athlete Vince Young went on to late-night television and laughed at the notion of a Madden Curse. only to succumb to a bevy of injuries that cost him his season the following year. Sure, there were a couple of years sprinkled in which the cover athlete performed well, like Calvin Johnson did for the Lions in 2014 when he went on to notch 1,964 receiving yards, beating the previous record held by Jerry Rice. And most recently when the Madden 20 cover athlete Patrick Mahomes was able to brave the storm, bouncing back from a nasty knee dislocation injury in the season to lead the Kansas City Chiefs to a victory in Super Bowl 54. But there is one curse that has since emerged as the big man on campus, one that even Pat Mahomes couldn't trump, the MVP curse. Of course, the Madden Curse has proven to be a beast in its own right, but with that being said, there is no denying that the MVP curse has since surpassed it. So what is with the MVP curse? Well, it is exactly what it sounds like. Since 2000, which, let's be honest, was really the advent of a new era of professional football in which the rules in the game began to change dramatically, the regular season NFL MVP has been 0-9 in Super Bowl appearances, beginning with Kurt Warner in 2001. Warner was downright dominant in 2001, passing at 4,830 yards at an unprecedented 68.7% completion rate, while connecting on 36 touchdowns through the air. In the final season of St. Louis's run as the greatest show on turf, Warner helped to power yet another all-time great Rams offense to become the first team in NFL history to record 3 consecutive seasons with 6 endo starts, as well as the first team to score 500 points in 3 straight years. The Rams were a force to be reckoned with all season long, finishing 14-2, and these were not iffy victories, not by a long shot. St. Louis handed out more than their fair share of beatdowns along the way, with 8 victories by 20 points or more. The Rams' dominance continued into the postseason as they dismantled the Packers 45-17 in the divisional round and led the Eagles by double digits for most of the second half during the NFC Championship game, only allowing them to get marginally in reach when Philly quarterback Donovan McNabb rushed a 3-yard garbage time tutter. Needless to say, St. Louis was a heavy favorite in Super Bowl 36 against the 11-5 New England Patriots, who made a miraculous run through the AFC playoffs behind the second-year quarterback Tom Brady and, of course, head coach Bill Belichick. Despite Vegas favoring the Rams by 14 points against the upstart Patriots, the Rams' high-powered offense faltered, only scoring 17 points, eventually losing the contest on a game-winning 48-yard field goal from Adam Vinatieri as time expired. And just like that, along with the burgeoning Patriots dynasty, a new curse, one even more powerful than the Madden Curse, was born. In the time since that fateful night in the Superdome, things have not gotten any better for the NFL MVP when it comes down to crunch time. It didn't take long to see the MVP curse strike again. It happened the very next season to Rich Gannon and the Oakland Raiders. And this one was not a nail-biter, nor was it decided by a next-level clutch field goal. Gannon and his high-powered Raiders offense were downright embarrassed by their former head coach John Gruden and his new team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in a game that wasn't even as close as the 48-21 final score suggests. It was a shame, too. Gannon was in the midst of 4 consecutive Pro Bowl seasons and had put together a truly special 2002 campaign, having thrown for just 4,689 yards and 26 touchdowns while recording a career-best 97.2 passer rating. But he put forth by far his worst performance of the season when it mattered most. During that Super Bowl, Gannon's counterpart, Brad Johnson, threw for just 215 yards and 2 touchdowns while surrendering 1 interception. It's a stat line that most teams would gladly take from the opposing quarterback in the big game. Unfortunately for Gannon and the Raiders, the league MVP put up a performance that left the Raider faithful begging for an outing like Johnson's, as pedestrian as it may have been. Gannon completed just over 50% of his passes for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns, but threw 5 interceptions, which was good for half of his regular season total in 1 game. Yikes. Between 2000 and 2010, half of the regular season MVPs made it to the Super Bowl, yet every single one of them fell victim to the curse. Sean Alexander's Seahawks were manhandled by the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 40 by a score of 21-10. Perhaps the most insane instance came in 2007 when NFL MVP Tom Brady and his 18-0 New England Patriots were upended by Eli Manning and the New York Giants, derailing their dreams of a perfect 19-0 season. And then in the final season of the decade, 2009 MVP Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts were 5-point favorites against the New Orleans Saints. Indy was coming off of a dominant 14-2 regular season in which Manning completed just under 69% of his passes for 4,500 yards and 33 touchdowns. But he faltered in the big game, losing an early lead and eventually the game, as New Orleans scored 15 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win by a final score of 31-17. In the time since, it has not gotten much better for league MVPs. In 2013 and 17 respectively, Manning and Brady became 2-time members of the Affliction, losing their second Super Bowl after winning league MVP in the same season. Of course, there was Cam Newton in 2015 and the unforgettable 28-3 Super Bowl in 2016, which added Matt Ryan to this dubious list. And that is just the misfortune that found the MVPs who actually made it to the Super Bowl. Think about 2018 when Mahomes and the Chiefs' Super Bowl hopes came crashing down because defensive end Dee Ford lined up offside, then try and tell me there isn't a curse. While there is still some credence to the Madden Curse, there's no denying that the MVP curse has since surpassed it as the greatest hex in football today. Do you believe the MVP curse has taken over the Madden Curse as the biggest jinx in the NFL right now? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that by hitting that subscribe button down below as well. Until next time, tune in to TPS for more cool videos every single day. We'll see you next time.